What's up guys, John Sunmez here from simpleprogrammer.com, and I was trying to figure out what kind of video to record for you guys today. Trying to think about what kind of topics should I talk about. Couldn't really come up with much, and then I realized what I need to talk about. I need to talk about not giving up. And so I want to give you a little bit of an inspiration today. I want to tell you a little bit about my story, about what just happened to me, some heartbreaking news that I had to deal with, some trials that I've gone through that maybe will inspire you a little bit to not give up. Not today, maybe tomorrow, but not today. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from simpleprogrammer.com. On this channel, I teach you the soft skills that you need to know as a software developer, as a programmer, how to succeed in life, not just in code. Everything from managing your career to getting a raise to just living a better life in general, just being more happy, just personal development, the things that most people don't talk about. You can get the technical stuff everywhere, but this kind of stuff I think is way more important. If you haven't already, go check out my best-selling book, The Complete Software Developer Career Guide, where I have a ton of this advice on every topic you can think of about becoming and being a software developer. There's a link up here in the cards. There'll be one in the description below. It's one of the best-selling books on Amazon in the software development category. I highly recommend the Audible version of the book as well. I've got extra information in there. Okay, so let me tell you about my story, okay? Some of you don't know this because I don't really talk about it that much on this channel, but I've been training for a 100-mile race. I've been training for about a year. Okay, now I'm 230 pounds. As you can see, I'm a pretty big guy, okay? And most ultra runners are around 140, 150 pounds. That's probably heavy for ultra runners for a lot of them. You gotta have a little bit more mass than a marathon runner because you gotta be able to sustain yourself over so many miles. But most of them are pretty light. So I'm roughly 100 pounds heavier than most ultra runners, around that amount. So ultra running is not exactly something that is really my genetic gift. Let's put it that way, okay? But it's something I wanted to do this year as a challenge to myself. I'd run maybe like 6 or 7 marathons, and I wanted to do a 100-mile race, okay? I did a 50-miler earlier this year. Actually, the actual race got canceled, but I just ran it by myself. And I signed up for a 100-miler, and I've been training for this thing, like I said, for over a year now. And my first 100-miler, when I got close to being ready for it, I flew all the way up to Flagstaff, trained at elevation, did all kinds of crazy runs, a lot of 30-mile runs in there. And finally, when it came down to the race, it got canceled. So I went back home and I tried to run this race, but I was just wrecked. I was wrecked from a variety of different things. Thinking maybe I was getting sick, elevation change, whatever it was. I ended up making it 32 miles and quit. And this was me running solo. I really called it because I knew that it wasn't going to happen that day. So after that, I really wanted to quit bad. All right, I really did. And, because it takes up a lot of hours of my life. I mean, it's hard to run 70, 80 miles a week sometimes while being 230 pounds, you know what I mean? And trying to do all the other stuff that I do, get into the gym, lifting weights, running these businesses, right? You just want to sleep. That's it. It's like very hard to have any kind of energy. You can't have a social life. You can't really travel very much because you have long runs on weekends, like 3, 4, 5 hour runs. And so I was ready to give up. In fact, I did an Instagram story and I was like, hey, I'm done. This is it. The race is canceled. I give it a shot. I got to move on with my life. And it took about 2 days before I was out there running again, and I ran this 8-mile run, and I just felt like it's not done yet. I can't give up. I can't do this. I can't leave this unfinished. And so I called up my coach and I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's start training again and let's pick a race. So we picked a race for December 5th. It's called the Brazos Bend 100 in Texas, right outside of Houston. And it was going to be December 5th and 6th. And so I started training for it. We set up a training program, I think for 8 weeks. It was 8 more weeks of training, something like that. And I've been training hard, been training harder than ever, feeling like I'm in the best shape that I've ever been. And then 3 days ago, after one of my good training runs, I was supposed to run this last weekend, I was supposed to run a 25-mile run and then a 20-mile run the next day. So this was going to be some big runs here, right? Back-to-back, really long runs. And I felt ready for it. But Friday night, after I had finished lifting at the gym, I just started to feel sick. My throat was hurting. I started to feel a little bit feverish. And sure enough, by nightfall, I was in bad shape. I had a 103, 104 fever. It spiked up to 104. And I couldn't run 25 miles on Saturday. I couldn't get out of bed on Saturday. So Saturday was shot. Saturday night, all day, fever. Saturday night, all night, 104 fever. So that was shot. So Sunday was shot. I couldn't run Sunday. And, I'm disappointed here. I'm thinking, shoot, I put in all this work. I need to do these long runs because it's almost time to do this race. And, again, I wanted to give up. I was feeling really disappointed. And so I couldn't run on Sunday. Again, fever all day, miserable in bed, thinking about all this training that I'm losing out on and that I'm not doing that I need to do. And then, Sunday night, fever all night. And Monday, I'm thinking, okay, at least I'll be able to run Monday. Same thing. Monday, the fever wasn't as bad, but it was still, still had a fever. So, but I was like, okay, well, at least I could run, maybe I'll talk to my coach. We'll see what the new plan's going to be. And then I get an email from the race director for the 100-mile race saying the race has been canceled. So, this was the opportunity. This was like, at this point, it was like I had this opportunity to give up because no one would blame me. I mean, here's my chance to get off the hook. I've already been sick. I've already missed some days. I know if I go back to running again, it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to make up for it. And now the race is canceled. So now I could just end this right here. I could save myself 5 or 6 more weeks of pain, and I could just be done with this. I could just call it. I could just say, hey, it's not my fault. The race is canceled. I tried twice to run this race, but you know what? I couldn't do it. So that's not what I'm doing. So what I decided was I was going to run. And even if I'm going to run it by myself. And so I called up my coach today and I said, all right, let's do this. How are we going to do this? And he said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to push the race back 1 more week and I want to run it solo. So that's what I'm doing. So I just finished my 10-mile run today. Didn't feel great. I'm still not feeling 100%. I'm still pretty sick, but I don't have a fever, just a sore throat now and just feeling a little fatigued. But I got my 10-mile run done and he's creating a new training plan for me. And I've got 6 more weeks of training I think that's about what it is. And then I'm going to run this 100-mile race solo. And so, the moral of the story, the reason why I'm telling you this is because you can't just let yourself off the hook. You can't just give up. I had so many opportunities along and I didn't even give you all the story. There were periods of time, think about this. I've been training for this 100-mile race for over a year. I was training on trails. I busted my ankles, busted my feet so many times where I couldn't walk the next day. But then somehow 2 days later, I started running again, running with a freaking limp. You know what I mean? Like, you got to want it bad enough. For me, I want it bad enough. I will look back on my life. And this is one of the main things is I thought, if I don't finish this, if I don't run this 100 miles, I will look back on my life and I will regret this. I will regret giving up on this, right? I can endure this. And I know that if I just follow the plan every day, you know what I mean? Like even going out to run today, 10 miles, feeling not great. It was a challenge. But I said, okay, I just got to do what's on the plate for today, right? I know I've got a hard workout tomorrow. I know that this weekend is going to be some long runs and they're going to be tough. But every day, I just have to do what I need to do for that day. And I know if I follow the plan, I'll get to where I'm going, right? There's one of my favorite books is by Stephen Pressfield. It's called The War of Art. I highly recommend you read it. I'll put a link up here in the cards in the description below. But in that book, one of the things that he says is, one of my favorite quotes is he says, if you keep those huskies mushing, you'll eventually pull into gnome. It's so true. It's like you just have to keep those huskies mushing. So if you're thinking about giving up right now, if you're in that spot, okay, and believe me, I've been there so many times, especially on this journey. It's pushed me to the edge. Believe me, some runs where I did 6-hour runs in the heat, running out of water, just miserable. Where I wanted to quit after 3 hours and I still had 3 hours to go. If you're in that spot right now, the best thing I can tell you is that you got to take the bad and you got to turn it into good. You got to find the positive in this, right? So for me with this race, I said, look, the good thing about this, right, about being sick and this race being canceled is that, well, now I get an extra week to train because I can push it back 1 week because there's no race. It's my own race. So I can make sure that I get enough time to train. And it's going to make me tougher, right? Going through this, choosing to go on at this point is going to make me tougher. And that was kind of the goal of this whole thing anyway. Why am I running this 100-mile race? It's not for my health. It's not healthy to run 100 miles, okay? It's not for the medals. It's not for the prize money. I'm not getting any of that stuff. Okay. Maybe if it was an official race, I'd get a belt buckle, but it's to make me tougher. So this is going to make me even tougher. You know what I'm saying? So whatever journey you're on right now, don't give up. You may fall down, and you're going to fall down a lot, and expect to fall down. I've fallen down so many times. I've literally fallen down a fucking mountain and thought I broke all my shit. All right. Laying, in my own blood on a fucking mountain by myself in darkness. Okay. Like 7 miles up, scared as shit, like thinking, how the fuck am I going to get down? And I had to dust myself off, wipe off the blood, and keep on running again. I've literally fallen down a mountain. All right. But that's what life is. Life, you're going to get swept. Okay. You're going to be fighting a really good fight, and someone's going to leg sweep you, and you're just going to come crumbling down. But you got to get back up. You got to keep on fighting. You got to keep on pushing. You can't give up, because you'll eventually get there. And in so many things in my life, everything from writing my book, like I was telling you about at the beginning of this video, the Complete Software Developer Career Guide. I wrote another book called Soft Skills. It was a fight. It was a battle. I had to push on. Last year, around Halloween, I got canceled on Twitter. All right, one of my books got unpublished. My courses got pulled. Right? Fuck that. I'm still here. I'm still making videos. I'm still selling my book. I'm going to republish my other book. I'm going to self-publish it now and make more money. All right? I'm not giving up, right? But that was a nice kick in the balls, all right? That hurt. That cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Again, you can't give up. You got to keep on pushing. You got to keep on fighting. You will get there as long as you keep those huskies mushing, right? You'll eventually pull in gnomes. So all your job is, all you got to do right now, wherever you are, keep learning, keep on working, keep on pushing forward, keep on grinding it out, and you'll succeed. You'll get there. I promise you. I've done it so many times now. I've done it so many times. I've done it from building Pluralsight courses, from building a successful blog and then a business out of Simple Programmer, to building my new company, Bulldog Mindset, and creating a YouTube channel and growing that YouTube channel. All of those things, they just required the grind. They just required me to keep on going, even when it didn't look like I was making progress. And right now you might be in that spot where it doesn't feel like you're making progress. But all I can tell you is you got to keep those huskies mushing. Just keep them mushing. Just keep on going. Again, I'm wearing my Trust the Process shirt today for a reason, because I need you to trust the process. I need you to just know that as long as you follow the process, you're eventually going to get there. You're going to succeed. All right, guys, go check out simpleprogrammer.com. Go check out the courses I have on there. I've got one on how to market yourself as a software developer. I think you'll find that useful. 10 steps to learn anything quickly. Also really good if you're trying to acquire some new knowledge. And if you're interested in doing real estate investing, I've been pretty successful in that as well. I've got a course on that. We'll teach you how to get started in real estate investing. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you feel like someone could use this video, share it with a friend, because there's so many people that want to give up, especially now. Times are hard, but when times are hard, that's when you need this message. That's when you got to just keep on fighting. And believe me, I've been there so many times. I'm there right now. I mean, it's a struggle. It was a struggle this morning. It was a struggle yesterday, making the decision to say, hey, I'm going to keep on fighting, because it would be so easy for me to give up, to not go through the pain. I've got a lot of pain in front of me. Running this race, training for this race, it's not fun. It's not easy. I mean, it's not like I don't enjoy any of it, but for the most part, it's a lot of pain. But I'm making the choice. And so you got to make the choice too.